Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here, live for the 2 p.m. First Alert digital live stream where we're live every Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. We're going to be talking about a little bit about last night, some updates as we've gotten through this morning into this early afternoon, and then some outlook for the rest of the week into our weekend. Just quickly taking care of some things on our end. Just trying to load up our Facebook chat real quick. As always, if you have any questions, head over to our Facebook page, WNEM TV5 News. There I try to answer any questions that you do have. I apologize if I miss your question. Sometimes get busy with other things. We already have Caleb saying hi from Adrian. Hello, Caleb. Hopefully you're having a wonderful Wednesday. I almost want to keep saying Thursday for some reason. I don't know why my brain is stuck on Thursday, but it is Wednesday. So we'll start off here looking at, we'll actually look outdoors real quickly. We're going to look first at downtown Flint where you have some sunshine there. There are a few clouds in the sky, but otherwise things are looking pretty nice there in Flint. We'll move up to the north, up to the Mackinac Bridge, where maybe a little hazy there. They have had some wildfire smoke roll into areas up north, but not as bad as what we had a couple weekends ago. If you remember, this is a camera that really saw the impact of that smoke, where you really couldn't see across the lake there and across the bridge with that heavy wildfire smoke. So luckily, we've gotten into a pretty good place with that smoke. Still lingering. It's still very light out there, but in a better spot. We look down to the south now into downtown Detroit, where you just have some light cloud cover, maybe a little bit more cloud cover than other areas in the state, but still has some sunshine peeking through. You're going to try to get some sun as we get through the rest of our day there. Now, as we take a look outdoors on our sky tracker, what we see is some clouds are starting to try to develop here as we get into this early afternoon. Definitely more sunshine through midday, but now that we've gotten into the afternoon, you are seeing some of those, what some would call popcorn clouds develop, maybe even a little bit more than that, trying to become more partly cloudy, especially in areas to the north and to the south, but you are going to see some sun. I'm not going to count out some areas getting that sunshine for today. Now, yesterday was obviously a pretty active day. We had that tornado warning in Bay County, lots of severe thunderstorm warnings, especially to the east. I think Tuscola County was sort of the hot area where you had a storm to the west and a storm to the south move into your region. Now, when we look at our local storm reports from yesterday afternoon into the evening, we can see there are a lot of reports that popped up across all of the state, because it wasn't just us here in mid-Michigan that had that severe weather. It was areas out towards Grand Rapids, areas down to the south. Quickly, real quick, if I can get back to that local storm report, we can see, again, it's mostly the whole state saw some form of severe weather or even just active weather if it wasn't severe yesterday afternoon. Now, some of the hot spots that we did see were just to the east of Midland into Bay County. It's these two local storm reports. And as of right now, I will say the National Weather Service could change their mind and change what they want to do. But for now, the National Weather Service and the emergency manager there towards Midland and then on the edge of Bay County have determined that area was straight line wind damage, probably 70-mile-per-hour winds. I don't think it says here how fast it was, but doesn't look like a tornado touched down there. Obviously, National Weather Service still could go out there and survey it and see what they say. But for now, they're saying that area is just going to be straight line wind damage around that Midland, just east of Midland. And I just want to remind everyone, because we're getting this a lot, especially the last couple of months, not all damage that you see to trees and maybe power lines is tornado. Wind damage can be just as much as a tornado damage. So I just want to remind everyone that, because we'll get a lot of people asking, hey, was there a tornado in this area? And there really wasn't a signal on radar of a tornado. Maybe it was straight line winds or a downburst that caused that damage in your area. Not always a tornado. Good afternoon, Deborah, to you. Rain gauge says 2 inches, so thank you for that report. That's going to be a comment site. We'll get to that here in a second, to the rain gauge. But yeah, just as a reminder, if you see damage, it's not always from a tornado. Winds just as strong, sometimes stronger than what you'll see in a small tornado, and that can cause just as much damage. We've had that a few times here in the last month, 2 months, where we've gotten reports of lots of damage, and then National Weather Service goes out there, or the emergency manager goes out there and surveys it, and it's just straight line wind damage. So I just want to remind everyone that, but obviously did have that tornado warning. There was a few frames on radar where we did just quickly see some rotation. So there was that possibility. Luckily, we haven't had any more reports. The National Weather Service will continue to just collect those and see what they can find. They'll have more updates throughout the next couple of days. So if they do get any updates, maybe they find an area. I know there maybe was a funnel cloud in Shiawassee County that's getting reported. We'll see how they treat that. Doesn't look like it may have touched down, but still had that funnel cloud from a few photos. But we'll have it reported here if we do get a report. Now, did want to quickly look at some of those rain totals from yesterday. Now, I will give a heads up with these. There are some areas that you're all over the place. Midland's one of those areas. I did put 2.53. That was sort of the middle ground, or some of the middle reports of the higher end reports, because we had reports in Midland as high as 2.78, 2.8 inches, and then we had reports as low as 1.7 inches. So was leading the way. Midland obviously did have a flood advisory there as those storms moved through. Heavy rainfall, some streets got flooded in Midland, and it really was showing areas 1.4 to 2 inches. Burton at 2.52, Duran down there in Shiawassee County had 2.18 inches, Cass City at 2.15, Saginaw. This is another area. We'll see how things get reported. It looked like the highest report in Saginaw was right around 1.8 inches. Again, there may be some reports of 2 in some of the localized rain gauges. I saw a couple reports around 1.3 and 1.4. So definitely a lot of rain. Now, in terms of drought, that will come up tomorrow. Does it help our drought monitor? It's really tough to say, because if you're watching yesterday, I think Chris mentioned this. We've had a few times we've gotten good rain, yet really haven't seen much change in our drought monitor. We're just pretty far behind in some areas. I'll pull that up real quick. Again, drought monitor does get updated on Thursday, so tomorrow we'll see if there's any updates. Probably not. But in last week's drought monitor update, we actually saw there was some upgrades in that severe drought along Midland, Saginaw, Bay counties into northwest Tuscola County. So we'll see how that gets changed as we get through really the rest of our next couple of days, because I don't think tomorrow's rain, or yesterday's rain chance, I don't think that is on this week's drought monitor. That will be on next week. So next week's might be an interesting one to watch. But again, we just have so many areas, they're so behind on the rain they need that we may not see much change when it comes to the drought monitor over the next couple of weeks. Now, did want to look up an almanac for the rain so far in August. What we see is Saginaw has seen right about 1.8 inches of rain, and on average through August 13th, you normally see 1.5, so we're actually ahead for our rain totals this far into the month, but we're still falling short of that average rain for the month of August, which ends up right around 3.49 inches in Saginaw. So hopefully we can get to that mark. That will help fight some of that drought away as we get over the next couple of weeks. I'd say Midland, again, you seem to be the biggest winner of yesterday in terms of getting that rainfall. Just a second, checking something, just seeing something. Okay, never mind. In terms of biggest rain, is definitely looking to be the Midland area. Looks like, again, 2.53 inches, could be even a little bit higher than that. Your average through August 13th is right around 1.4 inches, so we're about an inch really about an inch above average so far this month. Now, we're still short of that average for the month of August. That's right around 3.17 inches, but we're a lot closer to that mark than some other areas. Flint was sort of the lower area of areas that did get rain, right around 1 inch. So you aren't to your average mark for the month so far, and you're still pretty short of your average for the whole month. So obviously, there will be some areas, Midland, Bay City, Saginaw. We're going to want some of this more rain through the next couple of weeks, and we do have some more rain possible this weekend into the start of next week, so hopefully that will get us closer to that average mark and get us into a spot where we can start to see that drought leave us as we get over the next couple of weeks. Now, let's look outside right now. Temperatures have gotten back up into the lower 80s. You have West Branch at 83, Standish 82, Bay City 75, Saginaw at 81, and Flint at 77. Maybe a little cooler in areas down to the south where you do have a little bit heavier cloud cover right now. There was a good layer of clouds in Owasso and Flint earlier, so that's keeping it just a few degrees cooler. Now, as we look at our highs for this afternoon, we still have some degrees to go. Again, cloud cover could hinder what we see when it comes to temperatures, because if we do get a little bit more cloud cover into the afternoon here of the next hour or so, that would be maybe stopping us getting a few degrees warmer. And in terms of dew points, there was some relief yesterday after that rain moved out. Some drier air did try to move in, and we're seeing that with dew points in the upper 50s and lower 60s, but it's definitely still got that moisture in the air. You're definitely still going to feel some stickiness as you're getting out and about, especially if you're down to the south. Flint 66, Lapeer 68. That's pretty humid if you're getting out and about there. Port Sanilac at 71. So that dry air hasn't quite moved itself in yet. Really what we're seeing is we're not really going to get that much relief. Now, looking at our winds, relatively calm today at 5 to 15 miles per hour, mostly from the north-northwest. We are seeing some winds off the bay out of the northeast, so that'll be something we'll just keep an eye on throughout the rest of the day, but relatively calm winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're quickly going to take a break. Once I come back, we'll be talking about the next couple of days into our weekend with some more rain chances, maybe some more smoke. That could be a possibility. I'll have updates on that in just a few seconds. Welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here. And we're going to start off looking at our lows for tonight, where we do see a drop-off in some areas to the north into those 50s, so a lot better than what we had as we got through the weekend into the start of the new week. You have 53 in West Branch, 53 in Holton Lake. Warming up just a little bit as you start to move south, 55 in Gladwin, 59 in Clare into Midland, Mount Pleasant. And then as you get down into our southern counties, you do start to see more of those lower 60s, Saginaw 62, Flint 62, Owasso at 62. So that actually is just above average, if not at average, for this time of year. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, we continue our trend of average temperatures with many areas into the mid to upper 70s or the mid to lower 80s. So average for this time of year is right around 81 to 80 degrees. So we're getting to that point. I think a good spot after what was a warm weekend and a few warm days to start the week, and really a few warm days we'll have as we get into the weekend. So I think get out there if you're someone that enjoys those lower 80s, upper 70s, average for this time of year. I'd say get out there and enjoy the temperatures. As we head into Friday, we can start to see the signs of it getting a little bit warmer. Temperatures across the board, mostly in the mid to upper 80s. You have Saginaw 86, Caro 85, Bad Axe at 85, along with Sandusky. As you head towards 127, you start to see 87 and 88 in Mount Pleasant, Alma, and Clare. So definitely a signal of what's to come as we head towards the weekend, because it does look like temperatures are a tad bit warmer as we head into the weekend. Not as warm as what we had maybe last weekend, but I think enough that you'll notice it as you're getting out and about for any of your weekend plans. Now, in terms of humidity, on our humidity outlook, we can see that does start to increase. Again, we're sitting in those 60s through Thursday into Friday. By Saturday, it's those mid to upper 60s, maybe some lower 70s, and that will stick around into Sunday. So if you're looking for less humidity, you're really not going to get that, at least through the next 3 to 4 days. Now, there may be some relief into Sunday afternoon. That will be after a rain chance moves itself in, and then looks like dew points return back closer to the 70s for Monday before another chance of some relief into Tuesday. So I know we've had a lot of sticky days here over the last couple of weeks, into the last couple of months. We look to at least continue that trend through next week, Tuesday. And then after that, we'll see how things set up in the long term. Excuse me. Now, in terms of smoke chances, what we do see is we did have sort of a heavier band of smoke moving through the northern portions of Michigan into the Upper Peninsula. That was last night into this morning and continues as we get through the rest of the afternoon. Again, I do want to highlight that this model is aloft. This is smoke in the atmosphere, not as much at the surface. So you're not going to really have the chance to smell it if you're heading up north, or even really see it if you're going to be looking off into the distance. But you're definitely going to notice it in the sky if you're up there, again, heading to the north, maybe even as south as Holton Lake, seeing some of this smoke roll itself in tonight into tomorrow. A good sign is, though, as we head into Thursday, that smoke does start to lighten up and continues to lighten up through a majority of our Thursday. And it looks like any more heavy smoke actually misses us to the far north. So there's still going to be wildfire smoke lingering into the weekend, but it continues to get lighter, and that's a good trend that we want to see after what seemed like a week and a half of very heavy smoke, or what was a week and a half of very heavy smoke. When we look at the surface, again, there really isn't much here. Up to the north, definitely going to have some areas. I'd say Holton Lake into Ogama County, those will be your areas that you could see some smoke later tonight, right around sunset. So if you're going to be heading up there towards our northern counties, into the northern portions of the lower peninsula, you're definitely going to have that orange sunset, that sort of discolored sunset as you're getting out and about for this afternoon. Now, a good sign is that smoke does move itself in tomorrow morning, but by the time a majority of us are waking up, it does look like it wants to try to lighten up, and then by the afternoon Thursday, a lot of that smoke does move itself out. I still take precautions if you're someone that is sensitive to wildfire smoke as we get through Thursday morning. They haven't issued any kind of air quality advisory, but I do think be prepared to see moderate ratings in our air qualities, maybe some areas in the unhealthy for sensitive groups as we get over the next couple of hours into tomorrow morning and then even tomorrow afternoon. Now, when we take a look at our hour by hour, there isn't much for the rest of the afternoon. There is a few obviously clouds that want to develop. We're already seeing that on our satellite and radar. I will say I'm not going to count on a quick shower. There's just still moisture in the atmosphere. If it can just develop just right, you could see a few drop of rains. It's nothing that's going to ruin your Wednesday, but it's enough that you're going to notice it quickly, but it's a pretty small chance. As we head into Thursday, it's another day. It looks to be mostly on the drier side. You do have some light clouds that want to develop right around midday, but should still have plenty of sunshine through a majority of our Thursday. And then as we head into Friday, it's another day that does look to be on the drier side. Just a few clouds developing in the morning, and then a few of those popcorn clouds into the afternoon. Now, as we get into the long term, that's where things do start to change. We look to have another system move itself in from the west. This is Saturday morning, 6 a.m. We can see rain, luckily, is avoiding us here in mid-Michigan, but areas up north into the Upper Peninsula and Wisconsin seeing that rain. And that rain will move itself in Saturday afternoon into Saturday night and then into Sunday. Now, in terms of severe weather, I do think there's going to be a small chance. Still some time to update. We need those short-term models, some of those short-term models to give us a better idea for that severe weather. But I'm not going to count out seeing some development as we head through Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. So just be prepared for that. We'll have updates on our website at wnem.com/weather. Obviously, you can tune into our 2 p.m. streams. We'll have you updated there as we get over the next couple of days. but that rain chance may linger into Sunday before we have another chance into the afternoon Sunday into Monday. So it does look like we have some rain chances as we head into the weekend, into the start of the new week. I don't think it's any long-term rain, but definitely enough that you're going to notice it. Definitely a few rumbles of thunder, not out of the possibility. Severe weather, I think small, but it is there as we get through our weekend. So just be prepared for that. You just may want to stay weather aware. Again, we'll have more updates as we head into tomorrow afternoon if we will see severe weather into the weekend. But I think I've said this before on these streams. We start getting those temperatures into the 80s and then in the 90s, and you start to get dew points in the 60s and 70s. That's usually a good sign we could see some severe weather. And again, that's where we'll be sitting as we head into Saturday and Sundays, dew points closer to the 70s and temperatures in the 80s and 90s. So that's sort of a good spot to sit. Now, right before I end the stream here, I want to take a look at our 7-day forecast, where again, you do have mostly sunny skies for Thursday and Friday. You'll have those popcorn clouds into the afternoon. We head into your weekend, Saturday and Sunday. You do get those scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly into the evening and afternoon on Saturday, maybe becomes more in the morning and afternoon on Sunday. And then we continue to hold on to those rain chances on Monday and Tuesday. I think a good sign, though, into the new week is temperatures look to drop a little bit more, actually sitting in the 70s on Monday and Tuesday, but definitely on the warmer side as we get through Saturday and Sunday. So I don't see any questions in chat. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. As always, we'll have these streams at 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. If we have severe weather, we're always going to try to get a live stream up to keep you updated on the severe weather rolling into your area. Similar to what we had yesterday, we obviously had a few live streams that got started, and we talked about that severe weather chance, especially that tornado warning into Bay County. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, a wonderful rest of your week. We'll end it off here looking at the Mackinac Bridge as we end. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining me.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.